very positive start, because the final score is Ireland 22, the USA 10.
Well, there were some positives. It did rain in the first half. Ireland suffered in the second. The tries didn't pour in, more like dribbled in. It's a win for Ireland. Hardly convincing. Analysis and reaction when we return. Well, Bo saved his best for the second half, as did Rory. Ireland get the win, but there's definitely still an awful lot of work to be done. And this is how Pool C looks after those games this morning. Australia top it with that bonus point win, Ireland in second place. But you feel Italy won't pose too much of a threat after their display this morning, but the likelihood of Ireland beating Australia in this pool, Gervin Dempsey, on that level of performance is highly unlikely, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task. Yeah, certainly that wasn't the convincing performance we were all hoping for. Obviously, the conditions played their part in the first half. Second half, it was great to see Tommy Bowe come back getting back on the score sheet. But there was a lot of fundamental errors. We saw the error count there, and there was 14 errors made, 12 handling errors. So it's not convincing. It is slightly worrying, all right.
Let's have a look at those stats, because the weather was appalling. There was a lot of rain in the first half. That can account for a lot of them. But surely you simplify your game, Michael. You allow for those conditions.
That's the point. You know, Ireland having lost 4 games in their warm-up, they're trying to find some form, and therefore, first game of the World Cup, everybody's really keen to get out there and prove themselves that they're a good team, and the players looking for... And so therefore you push things, and you tend to push things there for handling errors. That's a lot of handling errors. And you know, yes, the conditions were poor, but then you change your way to play. You bring it in tight against an American team that was, you know, tackling very ferociously, and so you just tighten things up and play it simple, play it down the other end, drive the rucks and mauls. They had big advantage at the scrum, you know, and you just use those advantages to get into form, to play yourself into form. Ireland were a bit guilty this morning, particularly in the first half, of trying to overexcited, trying to push things.
Big tackle count from the USA, 101 tackles. So they played their part in disrupting Ireland's flow and Ireland's tactics, didn't they?
Without a doubt, I thought the USA, particularly led by Todd Cleaver, as we highlighted him before the game, and he really lived up to his reputation. He put himself around and really drove the whole USA team. But Ireland will be happy just to have won the game. They're off the back of 4 defeats. They've got a W next to their name. And they really need to get that Sean O'Brien back. That's my pointer for the next game against Australia, because he seems to bring out the best in the likes of Jamie Heaslip and some of the other forwards who were quite quiet today.
That is a worrying thing, Gervin, isn't it? Key men like Heaslip, like O'Driscoll, Darcy not having a great game today. Key men not playing too well at the moment.
Yeah, it is slightly worrying. But as Lawrence said, look, it's a start. They were keen to get this first game out of the way, get a win under the belt, and then try and build a bit of momentum. It is obviously not the way they wanted to start the campaign, but look, a win's a win. They'll hopefully get the likes of Cian Healy and Sean O'Brien back in the fold. Sean gives them such good advantage in the go forward. He's an abrasive ball carrier, gets behind defences and gives them quick ball. And then I think at half time the sort of the change with Owen Redden coming on, and you could see the zippier ball from the ruck and gave the forwards a bit of momentum on the front foot.
Tommy Bowe had a tricky time dealing with that wet ball, certainly in the first half. A lot of errors for him, but finally the try came and we thought they might just kick on, didn't we? Yeah,
definitely. It's great to see Tommy back on the score sheet again. He's got back in great feet here. It was a lovely ball from Stephen Ferris outside to Johnny Sexton, a nice inside ball to Tommy Bowe. Showed good in-out step and away, and good strength and pace to go over under the 6.
They didn't really kick on from there, though, did they? That's what we hoped for.
Well, it was a crucial score, wasn't it? I mean, this came just before half-time. I mean, at that point it was 3-0 and USA were really in the game. But Ireland turned them over at the scrum, which led to the Bowe score. They managed to get another one, another couple. But as you say, they didn't really build on that lead until the introduction of Owen Redden. I thought Ronan O'Gara as well at half-back.
Yeah, that's a little bit unsettling, though, for Ireland, that they don't know who their best half-back combination is at the moment, And they'll have to pick, obviously, their best team for Australia next week. But going into this game, is it Sexton, or is it O'Gara at 10? And, the half-back, Owen Redden, made a difference today, so maybe he'll come back to be the number 1 half-back. But it's a little bit unsettling for Ireland, I think, that they don't know what their best team is at this stage.
Can we pull a positive out of that you've got 2 half-backs and you use them which to suit whatever conditions there are. I mean, wet, windy conditions, you play O'Gara. Dry conditions, you play Johnny.
But at some stage, you have to, I think, let the squad know who number one is. And I don't think, if we're being critical, that Declan Kidney's ever done that. He's used O'Gara twice in the warm-up games. He's used Sexton, and you'd have thought coming into the World Cup that Sexton was the guy in form, you know, having won the Heineken Cup, man of the match, outstanding, and yet he keeps going back to O'Gara.
Yeah, but also it creates uncertainty in the player's mind. He's going out there, I'm playing for my place, therefore I'm a little bit conservative, don't want to make mistakes, and that affects the team also.
Ireland, a long history of battling out halves, of course, Gervin, but probably not suiting things at a World Cup, is it? No,
it's not. Yeah, look, it was a tough day for Johnny, and the conditions. I think it was mentioned about goal kicking as well was tough as well. But look, hopefully they not getting that bonus point won't come back to haunt them in the end. I think that might have been crucial. I think it would have got a lot more confidence by getting that 5-pointer, that bonus point out of that game. But look, as we said, it's a win. We're off the mark. We'll move on from here.
Well, tries did come, thankfully, after that, and a well-taken try by Rory Best.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, good forward play, which is where, you know, you always felt Ireland had the upper hand, and this is something that they do very, very well. You know, getting the driving maul going, and Owen Redding talking to Rory Best, seeing that there's a bit of a gap down the short side, and he showed great strength. And I felt that if there, you know, some positive performances, he certainly took his opportunity. His lineouts looked pretty steady, and again, maybe the selections that Declan Kidney has posed here have given him some answers. You know, he tried Conor Murray at scrum half in his third game. I think now looks more than likely that Owen Redding will start against Australia. Rory Best and Flannery, again, some selection issues for the Irish coaching staff.
Yeah.
Difficult day for Conor Murray, though. You had to feel for the guy, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was at a time in the first half there where America were very much on the front foot. Ireland were making errors, and he was a halfback that had to try and clean everything up. So difficult conditions for him, but I agree with Lawrence and that, you know, Owen Redding's probably looking a little sharper for the Australian match coming up this Saturday.
OK, I think it's time to look at another try. Perk ourselves up a bit, and Tommy Bowe did bag a second one.
Be too negative, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great work. Straight off, Owen Redding, quick ball. Again, forwards getting quick go forward. Again, zippy ball out the backs. Nice ball by Darcy. Tommy Bowe picking it up. Inside ball from O'Driscoll. Great support lines. And again, it's brilliant to see Tommy back and showing a bit of form and getting his hands on the ball and showing what he can do. We spoke about Australia earlier and the back three coming in that second wave of attack, and it's something that Tommy does really well, and we just want to see more of it.
That was a really well worked try. I mean, that was nice and crisp and good passing, strong running, and that's a positive for Ireland. They should look at that and how it came about and say, yes, we can still play, and that was a good try, and that's what we're looking to do against Australia in the following week.
Great ball back inside from the Irish captain, Brian O'Driscoll. Let's hear from him now.
Well, Brian, they made you work hard, but you got there in the end.
Yeah, you know, we didn't play well, and we really had to fight for a win. I suppose it's job done, but we got a hell of a lot to improve on.
But plenty of positives out there. Very, very impressive forward efforts, particularly at set-piece time, scrums and lineouts.
Yeah, absolutely. Our set-piece was very good. It's just we turned the ball over way too much, and we couldn't get any continuity. Now, there were tough conditions, but I think our performance was a bit typified by the last play of the game. We were just a little bit loose.
Yeah, but first game, so you'd be happy to blow the cobwebs out there in a big match at Eden Park coming up.
Yeah, it's good to get an 80 minutes under your belt. I suppose the initial nerves of playing in a World Cup are behind us, and now we got a big challenge at the weekend against Australia, and we'll look forward and hopefully work on the bad aspects of our game during the week.
Well, you'd be pleased if half the supporters that were here in New Plymouth went up to Eden Park for you.
It was incredible coming out. There was green flags everywhere. It was really hugely impressive, and it's just a shame we couldn't give them a little bit more to cheer about. But if they stick with us, we'll endeavour to do so.
Good luck in Auckland.
Cheers.
Irish fans still cheering. They're a patient lot, Gervin, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they are. They're great. They travel everywhere, and the expat community around the world, they really come and support the team, and it's one positive. Yeah, they really get behind the team no matter what the result. And they really had to get behind them in that first half, particularly when Johnny Sexton was having an awful time with the boot. But we're developing a bit of a theory here, guys, because he's a great goal kicker, great success rate, but big misses, and he's not the only one. Dan Carter
These men get everything. He only got 4 from 6 in that Friday night game. More shockingly, Johnny Wilkinson had just a 3 from 8 success rate in the game yesterday.
You're looking at Michael, I hope, here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Michael. I was going to ask you about his kicking, Lawrence.
Why are you looking at me?
Lawrence, you would consider a 50% kicking rate good, but not too good in a World Cup, Michael,
No,
is it?
it's been a bit strange, and they're misses, they're ones that you'd normally expect these guys to get. They're all good kickers. I was surprised with Wilkinson, Contemporaneous and Rodriguez yesterday. They were missing indoors, so you couldn't blame the conditions. You know, there was a bit of wind today, and but there seems to be, to me, that, you know, Johnny was saying in the press this morning that he was hitting the ball well, he was happy with the strike, and it looked like that, but he was missing by quite a distance. And so maybe there's something with the balls, maybe they haven't got quite used to them yet, but there has been some big misses by kickers. I saw Ronan O'Gara miss by a cricket pitch length this morning.
They changed the ball before the Rugby World Cup, and they do that quite a lot before all the tournaments, don't they? So
yeah, and it's something you've got to get used to. And once you start missing a little bit,
does the flight of the ball look different to you, Michael?
No, not necessarily. It's just the direction it's coming off the foot. And, you know, Johnny's had a couple of